No, there's a lot of logical arguments one can make against gay marriage.
Alright, so you say there's a lot of logical arguments that one can make against gay marriage, and that may be so, but logical or illogical doesn't really matter. Are there any legal arguments that you can make against gay marriage? Because that's what really, you can say, well, that doesn't really matter. Yes, it does, because we're talking about law now. And I don't really think you understand how law works in this country. This is called the United States Constitution. This is the supreme law of the land. This is one of my many copies, but this is the one that I keep in my pocket. I read it daily because I think it's important to understand how the laws of your nation function, because that's how your government deals most directly with you, is through the law. Now, the legal argument in favor of gay marriage is this: that there is this contract that protects two parties that join resources, and this legal contract by default is called marriage. This is marriage as a legal institution, not a religious institution, a legal institution. This is why atheists can get married. People who believe in God and aren't particularly religious, and they're married by a judge. Okay? Now, all laws, whether it be a federal law or a local statute, are subject to the supreme law of the land as arbitrated by the courts, or as interpreted by the courts. So majority rule isn't enough to really just make a law. Like, for instance, if that were true, there might still be Jim Crow laws in the South, but if the courts find that a law is unconstitutional, or that law goes against the supreme law, each state has a constitution, but they're all subordinate to the United States Constitution. And if a judge finds it's unconstitutional, then that law will be overturned. And so when people challenge this gay marriage law, I'm sure they will, do you really think that the courts that granted them the right to get married in the first place are going to hold up as constitutional a law that tries to take that authority away from them? Because the reason the courts rule this way is because I think in their opinion of jurisprudence, which is hard to, 200 years of American jurisprudence, it's kind of hard to argue with. It's like, there's really no good legal argument against gay marriage. If you can make a lucid legal argument against gay marriage in light of 200 years of American jurisprudence, I'd like to hear it. And but I don't think that you can. Most of your arguments are, you say they're logical. Well, yeah, in the sense that emotional arguments can be made logically, yeah, but they're mostly emotional arguments. They're not legal arguments. And as far as the whole idea of, I don't understand why atheists want to get married. Well, it doesn't matter if you understand it or not. Ultimately, what matters is that it's legal and legally binding and performed by a judge. See, that's the thing, is like civil unions of this sort, which are just called marriage, that's just the legal term for it. Okay? The courts are already in charge of that. Judges do those marriages. So if the courts are saying, hey, we don't mind marrying gay people, I don't understand what your problem is with it. That's the thing. A lot of people are like, why do you support this? Why are you so against it? If it neither picks my pocket nor breaks my leg, it's not my business what others do. That's my feeling about it. It's kind of like, as an American, born and bred, it's what I believe in. As far as how far civil liberties ought to extend, which is to say, you're right to swing your fist in somewhere in the proximity of my nose, but beyond that, if you want to shake your fist in the sky, you can do that. I'm not going to tell you that you can't. The thing that really disturbs me about this, though, is, it's funny because at the beginning of the video, you talk about these Christians and Jews that really, aren't on the same side, but they pretend like they are. And it's like, that's the thing that really gets me about, the whole thing about generally who is on whose side. It's like, a lot of people that are on your side in this, that want to ban gay marriage, like fundamentalist Christians, they're a lot of the same people that think all Muslims are fucking terrorists, man. Do you know who you're siding with? I mean, it's unbelievable to me. And people like me, who are standing up for the rights of gays to get married, would be the first people coming to your defense if your rights were threatened. Suppose they wanted to make a law that said, well, this is a majority Christian nation, so we're going to vote to get rid of all religions that aren't Christianity. And since the majority are Christians, they could pass that law, right? Well, but here once again, the courts and the good old Constitution come to the rescue, because that is obviously against the First Amendment of the Constitution, and it would be struck down as unconstitutional, thus protecting the rights of minorities. Because what this country is made of, this is a country of minorities. Everybody, there's all these different groups, but we're all here together in this country, and the law is supposed to protect the majority of us. That's what it's about. That's what being an American is all about, really. You don't have to like everything. You have to approve of everything. But that's what tolerance isn't approving. Tolerance isn't promoting. Tolerance is tolerating it. I mean, from the tenor of your video, what I get is that a lot of this is cultural, and I'll say it, personal prejudice. Like, the two guys together, you just think that's icky. Well, you know what? That's fine. You can think that's icky. But to tell two consenting adults that they cannot form a legal contract of union, because it goes against your particular prejudices and proclivities, well, I have to say, not only do I find that rather repugnant as a civil libertarian, I'd also go as far as to say that's un-American. So you can make all the arguments you want, but until you can present an actual legal argument, dude, you haven't said anything that I haven't heard before.